In the last episode, Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion breached the outer rim of the Aethereian district. Their quest's risks and Dr. Orion's enigmatic behavior fueling tensions as they pursued a new lead on the Echo Chamber's location. A cryptic map etched on an ancient relic had sparked hope, but navigating labyrinthine tunnels and avoiding roving Archon patrols tested their resolve. The stakes were high, and their weariness began to take its toll. I trudged through the dusty tunnel, my boots kicking up small clouds of debris with each step. Elara walks beside me, her eyes fixed on the path ahead, her jaw set in determination. Dr. Orion leads the way, his strides long and purposeful. What's driving him, I wonder? Is it the same thing that's driving me? The hum of the transmission grows louder, a constant reminder of our mission. We're getting close, I can feel it. The thought sends a surge of adrenaline through my veins, and I quicken my pace. Elara catches up to me, her voice low. "We need to be careful, Alex. We don't know what's waiting for us up ahead." I nod, my eyes scanning the tunnel. "I know, but we can't turn back now. We have to see this through." Dr. Orion stops abruptly, his head cocked to one side. "Do you hear that?" Elara and I exchange a look, then listen. The sound is faint, but it's definitely there, the distant thrum of machinery or something like it. "It sounds like we're not alone," I say, my hand on the grip of my gun. Dr. Orion's expression is grim. "Let's move." We proceed with caution, our senses on high alert. The tunnel begins to slope downward and the air grows thick with the smell of ozone and smoke. "Where are we?" I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Dr. Orion consults a small device in his hand. "We're approaching the edge of the old sector. The tunnel should open up into a large chamber." Elara's eyes light up with curiosity. "What's in the chamber?" Dr. Orion's expression is tight-lipped. "I'm not sure, but I think we're about to find out." As we round a bend in the tunnel, the sound grows louder and I catch my first glimpse of the chamber ahead. It's massive, with towering walls and a vaulted ceiling. And in the center of it all, my heart skips a beat as I take in the sight. It's a massive generator, humming with energy. But it's not just the generator that's caught my attention, it's the figure standing beside it, its back to us. "Who is that?" I whisper to Elara. She shakes her head, her eyes fixed on the figure. "I don't know, but I think we're about to find out." The figure slowly turns to face us, its features coming into focus. My heart sinks as I take in the sight of a familiar face, one that I thought I'd never see again. "Aiden." I take a step forward, my mind reeling. The figure's eyes lock onto mine, and for a moment we're frozen in time. Then, in a voice that's both familiar and yet utterly alien, "Alex." My world narrows to a single point as Aiden's words hang in the air, heavy with unspoken meaning. I feel like I've been punched in the gut. "What are you doing here?" I demand, trying to keep my emotions in check. Aiden's expression is off. It's like he's not quite himself. "I've been waiting for you, Alex." I take a step closer, my heart racing. "What's going on, Aiden? What's happening to you?" Aiden's eyes seem to cloud over, and for a moment I think I see something flicker in their depths, something dark and malevolent. "I don't have much time, Alex." The Puppeteer's influence is growing stronger by the minute. My mind reels as I try to process Aiden's words. "The Puppeteer? What does he mean?" "What do you mean?" I ask, trying to keep my voice steady. Aiden's eyes seem to bore into mine. "You have to get out of here, Alex, before it's too late." Suddenly, the generator behind him roars to life and the air is filled with an ear-splitting whine. I feel a blast of energy wash over me and everything goes white previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion breach the Aethereian district, pursuing a new lead on the Echo Chamber's location, only to stumble upon Aiden, seemingly under the dark influence of the Puppeteer. As Aiden's words hung in the air, the generator roared to life and the room was bathed in an intense, blinding energy. I stumble backward, my vision fragmented by the piercing whine. The sound is like nothing I've ever heard, a cacophony of machinery and energy that threatens to shatter my eardrums. Elara grabs my arm, her grip like a vice as she pulls me toward the tunnel entrance. Dr. Orion is already sprinting ahead, his eyes fixed on some point beyond the chamber. As we retreat, the air seems to ripple and distort, like the very fabric of reality is bending to accommodate the energy's intensity. My heart races, pounding in my chest like a jackhammer. I risk a glance back, and what I see makes my blood run cold. Aiden stands motionless, his eyes black as coal, his skin deathly pale. The puppeteer's influence is writ large across his face, a malevolent presence that seems to be devouring him whole. I feel a surge of anger and determination. We can't leave him like this. We have to find a way to save him. We burst back into the tunnel, the chamber's energy still echoing in our ears. Dr. Orion spins around, his eyes blazing with a newfound intensity. "We have to keep moving," he growls. "That energy will attract every Archon in the district. We need to find the echo chamber before they do." I nod, still reeling from the shock of Aiden's transformation. Elara's grip on my arm has wavered, and I'm grateful for the human connection in this sea of madness. "What about Aiden?" I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Dr. Orion's expression is grim. "We can't save him, not now. Our priority is the echo chamber. We have to reboot Aethereia's harmonics before it's too late." I hesitate, torn between my loyalty to Aiden and my duty to save Aethereia. Elara's grip on my arm tight, and I know she's with me. We'll find a way to save Aiden somehow. But for now, we have to press on. We move swiftly through the tunnel, the chamber's energy still resonating in our ears. The air grows thick with the smell of ozone and smoke, and I can feel the district's tension building toward a breaking point. We're racing against time, pushing against the boundaries of what's possible. And I know, deep in my heart, that we'll uncover secrets that will change everything. As we run, the tunnel begins to slope upward, and I sense we're approaching the surface. The transmission's hold on the district begins to falter, and I know we're on the cusp of something massive, a revelation that will redefine our quest and our understanding of Aethereia itself. Previously, Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion stumbled upon Aiden under the dark influence of the puppeteer as the generator roared to life, bathing the room in an intense, blinding energy. As they retreated, Aiden's fate hung in the balance, and the trio was forced to prioritize their quest to reboot Aethereia's harmonics over saving their friend. We burst out of the tunnel, gasping for air as the cool night breeze hit us like a slap in the face. The district's tension was palpable, the air thick with anticipation. I exchanged a glance with Elara, our unspoken understanding. We'd find a way to save Aiden, no matter what lay ahead. Dr. Orion led the charge, his eyes fixed point on the horizon, guiding us through the labyrinthine streets of Aethereia. We'd been running for what felt like an eternity, the silence between us heavy with the weight of our mission. Suddenly, Dr. Orion halted, his head cocked to the side as if picking up a distant signal. "What's wrong?" I asked, my heart skipping a beat. Dr. Orion's voice was laced with an undercurrent of excitement. "I think I've pinpointed the echo chamber's location. It's different, unlike anything I've seen before." Elara's eyes narrowed. "How different?" Dr. Orion's gaze locked onto hers. "It's as if the very fabric of reality is warped around it. I've never seen energy signatures this intense." I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what lay ahead. "Then let's move out. We have no time to waste." We pushed forward, our footsteps echoing off the deserted buildings. The streets seemed to shift and bend around us, as if reality itself was warping to accommodate our journey. I felt a shiver run down my spine. This was at the moment of truth. As we approached the echo chamber, I sensed we were walking into a trap. The air vibrated with an otherworldly power, drawing us closer. My heart pounded in time with the energy, and I knew we were on the cusp of something monumental. Suddenly, the streets vanished, replaced by an endless expanse of crystalline structures that seemed to hum with an ancient power. The echo chamber loomed before us, its entrance a vortex of pulsing energy. My heart skipped a beat. This was at the rebirth of Aethereia. But as we stepped forward, a chilling voice echoed through the chamber, making my blood run cold. "Welcome, Alex. I've been waiting for you." I spun around, my eyes locking onto a figure cloaked in shadows. "Who are you?" I demanded, My voice firm. The figure stepped forward, its features illuminated by the chamber's energy. My heart stopped. It was Dr. Sophia Patel, the architect of Aethereia's downfall. A bitter smile twisted her lips. "I've been waiting for you, Alex. You see, I've discovered the true secret to rebooting Aethereia's harmonics, and it requires a sacrifice. Aiden's life previously." As Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion finally breached the outer rim of the Aethereian district, they stumbled upon Aiden under the dark influence of the Puppeteer, and the trio was forced to prioritize their quest to reboot Aethereia's harmonics over saving their friend. With the transmission's hold on the district faltering, their bond and determination paved the way for a brighter future where hope and courage triumph. "Well, never let that happen," I growled, my fists clenched at my sides. Dr. Patel's smile only grew wider, her eyes gleaming with a madness that sent shivers down my spine. "Oh, but you will. You see, Alex, the true secret to rebooting Aethereia's harmonics lies not in some mystical frequency, but in the resonance of the human heart. And Aiden's heart, in particular, was the key. His unique connection to the Puppeteer made him the perfect catalyst for this new harmonics." Dr. Patel's words dripped with a persuasive conviction that made my skin crawl. Elara's hand on my arm, a gentle reminder of our unity, kept me grounded. "We want play along," I said, my voice firm. "Y'all have to go through us first." Dr. Patel chuckled, the sound sending ripples through the chamber. "Oh, I'm counting on it. The Puppeteer has been waiting for this moment for a very long time, and with Aiden as the sacrifice, Aethereia will be reborn in the Puppeteer's image." A cold dread spread through me as I realized the true extent of Dr. Patel's manipulation. The Puppeteer's influence had corrupted her, warping her vision for Aethereia's rebirth into a twisted nightmare. "I won't let that happen," I said, steel in my voice. "Aethereia will rise again, but on its own terms, not as some puppet of the Puppeteer." Dr. Patel's expression turned calculating, as if she was weighing her next move. For now, she seemed content to toy with us, dangling the hope of saving Aiden before us like a carrot on a stick. "You're running out of time, Alex," she said, her voice dripping with condescension. "The Puppeteer's hold on Aethereia's psyche is growing stronger by the minute. Soon it will be too late. Aiden will be lost forever, and Aethereia will be reborn in the Puppeteer's twisted design." I locked eyes with Elara, my determination mirrored in hers. We knew what we had to do. We had to stop Dr. Patel, no matter the cost. With a deep breath, I stepped forward, my heart pounding in time with the chamber's energy. The game of cat and mouse had begun previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion finally breached the echo chamber, only to find Aiden under the dark influence of the Puppeteer. Dr. Patel revealed the true secret to rebooting Aethereia's harmonics, Aiden's unique connection to the Puppeteer, making him the perfect catalyst. As I stepped forward, the chamber's energy pulsed through me, a surge of determination driving me to stop Dr. Patel. But before I could take another step, the chamber's walls began to shudder, the air thickening with an otherworldly presence. The Puppeteer had finally made its presence known. The room seemed to darken as if the very lights themselves were being drained of their power. Dr. Patel's eyes gleamed with an unnatural excitement, her voice barely above a whisper. "The time of reckoning has come, Alex. You should have listened to me when you had the chance." I felt Elara's hand tighten around my arm, a beacon of support as the chamber's energy began to warp and twist around us. Dr. Orion, usually a bastion of calm, seemed to be struggling to maintain his composure, his eyes darting between Dr. Patel and the chamber's walls. Suddenly, the walls began to crack, the sound of shattering stone echoing through the chamber. A dark, swirling vortex erupted from the fissures, tendrils of darkness snaking out to ensnare us. I knew we had to get out, and fast. "Elara, Dr. Orion, we need to." But before I could finish, Dr. Patel's voice cut through the chaos, her command echoing in the chamber. "Aiden, take care of them." Aiden, his face twisted into a grotesque mockery of his former self, began to move towards us. His eyes, once bright and full of life, now burned with an unnatural hunger. I knew that if we didn't act fast, we'd be trapped in the Puppeteer's twisted game forever. With a burst of adrenaline, I pushed Elara and Dr. Orion towards the chamber's exit. We had to get out and find a way to stop the Puppeteer's influence before it was too late. The game of cat and mouse had just turned deadly. As we stumbled out of the chamber, the darkness closing in behind us, I knew that our only hope lay in finding a way to sever the Puppeteer's hold on Aiden's heart. But how, when the very fabric of Aethereia seemed to be unraveling before our eyes? The tunnels ahead of us seemed to stretch out like a maze, filled with unknown dangers and uncertain outcomes. But I knew that we couldn't turn back. We had to press forward no matter the cost. For Aethereia's sake, for our own, we had to keep moving previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion breached the echo chamber, only to find Aiden under the dark influence of the Puppeteer. Dr. Patel revealed that Aiden's unique connection to the Puppeteer made him the perfect catalyst to reboot Aethereia's harmonics. The Puppeteer manifested, and the trio narrowly escaped the echo chamber, pursued by Aiden, now a twisted pawn in the Puppeteer's game. As we sprinted through the labyrinthine tunnels, the darkness closing in behind us like a living entity, the only sound was the pounding of our footsteps and the ragged breathing of my companions. We didn't dare look back, fearing what we might see. The image of Aiden's distorted face, his eyes burning with an unnatural hunger, was seared into my mind. We'd been running for what felt like an eternity, the walls of the tunnels blurring together in a never-ending nightmare. Suddenly, Dr. Orion skidded to a stop, his eyes fixed on a faint luminescence ahead. "The sanctuary," he whispered, his voice laced with a mix of hope and trepidation. Elara's grip on my arm tightened, her gaze darting back and forth, searching for any signs of pursuit. "What's the sanctuary?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Dr. Orion's expression turned grim. "A hidden refuge where a small community of rebels has been hiding in plain sight. If we can make it there, they might be able to help us understand how to break the Puppeteer's hold on Aiden." I nodded, a spark of determination igniting within me. We had to keep moving no matter the cost. For Aethereia, for our own, we had to press on. "Let's go," I said, my voice firm and resolute. With renewed determination, we burst through the entrance of the sanctuary, a hidden oasis in the heart of the labyrinthine tunnels. The air was alive with the soft hum of hidden machinery, and the faint scent of hope wafted through the air, a beacon of light in the darkness previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion escaped the echo chamber, only to find themselves in a desperate race against time as Aiden, now under the Puppeteer's influence, pursued them. The trio fled to the sanctuary, a hidden refuge where a community of rebels might hold the key to breaking the Puppeteer's hold on Aiden. As we entered the sanctuary, a warm light enveloped us, and for a moment the darkness receded, replaced by a sense of hope. The hum of machinery and the gentle murmur of voices created a sense of tranquility, a respite from the constant threat of the Puppeteer. But I knew this refuge was temporary, a fleeting reprieve before the storm. A figure emerged from the shadows, her eyes sparkling with a quiet intensity. "I am Lyra," she said, her voice firm but laced with a hint of wariness. "Welcome to the sanctuary. We've been waiting for you, Alex." I nodded, my senses on high alert. There was something about Lyra that didn't quite add up, something beneath the surface that she wasn't revealing. "The rebels have been tracking the Puppeteer's influence," Lyra continued, her eyes scanning the room as if searching for an ally or an enemy. "We've discovered that the Puppeteer's power is tied to the Aethereian resonant frequency. If we can find a way to disrupt that frequency, we might be able to break its hold on him." Dr. Orion's eyes narrowed, his gaze fixed on Lyra. "You're telling us that the rebels have been searching for a way to reboot Aethereia's harmonics?" Lyra's eyes flashed, a fleeting moment of anger before her mask slipped back into place. "We've been searching for a way to free Aethereia from the Puppeteer's grasp, but our methods may not align with yours." I stepped forward, my hand resting on the hilt of my sword. "We're not here to debate methods. We're here to find a way to save Aiden and reboot its harmonics. If you can help us, we'll work together. But if you're hiding something from us..." My voice trailed off, the implied threat hanging in the air. For a moment, Lyra's mask slipped and I caught a glimpse of a younger, more idealistic Lyra, someone who had once believed in the possibility of a brighter future. Then the mask snapped back into place and she nodded curtly. "Very well. Let's get to work." As we began to discuss our plan of action, I couldn't help but wonder what secrets Lyra and the rebels were hiding and whether their true allegiance lay with Aethereia or with some other, unknown force. One thing was certain, we had no choice but to trust them, at least for now. The fate of Aethereia hung in the balance, and I was willing to do whatever it took to reboot its harmonics and bring hope back to its people previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion escaped the echo chamber and fled to the sanctuary, a hidden refuge where a mysterious rebel leader named Lyra might hold the key to breaking the Puppeteer's hold on Aiden. Lyra revealed that the rebels had been tracking the Puppeteer's influence, and that its power was tied to the Aethereian resonant frequency. As Lyra led us deeper into the sanctuary, the air grew thick with tension. Elara's fingers drummed a staccato beat on her thigh, a nervous energy coursing through her veins. Dr. Orion's eyes darted between Lyra and the surrounding rebels, his gaze piercing as he searched for any sign of deception. I whispered to Elara. Her nod was almost imperceptible, but I knew she was on high alert, ready to defend us against any hidden threat. Suddenly, Lyra halted before a sleek silver console, her fingers flying across the surface with a precision that belied her earlier wariness. The console hummed to life, and a holographic display flickered into being, casting an eerie glow across the rebels' faces. "This is the Puppeteer's frequency," Lyra said, her voice low and urgent. "If we can create a resonant frequency to counteract its influence, we might be able to free Aiden from its grasp." As the rebels began to work in tandem, their focus laser-sharp, I felt a shiver run down my spine. There was a beauty in their coordination, a harmony that belied the danger we were in. For the first time, I dared to hope that we might actually succeed, that we might reboot Aethereia's harmonics and bring light back to its people. But as I turned to Lyra, I caught a glimpse of something hidden in her eyes, a flicker of a darker intention, a secret that she was hiding from the world. And in that moment, I had to confront the possibility that Lyra and the rebels might not be the allies we thought they were previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion sought refuge in the sanctuary, a hidden rebel stronghold, where Lyra, the enigmatic leader, presented a possible solution to counter the Puppeteer's hold on Aiden by creating a resonant frequency. As the rebels worked in tandem, Alex detected a hint of deception in Lyra's eyes, raising questions about the true allegiance of their new allies. As I gazed into Lyra's eyes, the spark of deception ignited a firestorm of doubt in my mind. The rebels, so meticulous in their planning, seemed to be hiding something more sinister. I shot a glance at Elara, her eyes already locked onto mine, her instincts screaming warning. In that moment, the entire sanctuary seemed to vibrate with tension, the air thickening like a physical presence. "Lyra, what aren't you telling us?" I demanded, my voice steady though my heart raced like a wild animal. The rebels halted their work, their faces a picture of innocence, but I knew better. Lyra's gaze faltered, her eyes drifting to the side, a micro-expression betraying her. Dr. Orion, ever the analyst, stepped forward, his tone measured. "Lyra, we've come too far to play games. If there's more to this plan than you're letting on, now's the time to share." Lyra's eyes darted between us, her jaw clenched before a calculated smile spread across her face. "You want to know the truth, Alex?" Her voice dripped with sarcasm. "The truth is, we don't know if this will work. We've never attempted to counter the Puppeteer before, but we're willing to try. For the sake of Aethereia, and for the sake of the rebels who've lost loved ones to the Puppeteer's grasp." The room fell silent, the only sound the hum of the silver console. I searched for any sign of insincerity, and Lyra's words seemed genuine, but I couldn't shake off the sensation that there was more, something hidden beneath the surface. Elara's hand brushed against mine, a reassuring touch that steadied my nerves. I knew we had to push forward, no matter the unknowns. For Aethereia's sake, we had to try. "Let's do this," I said, my voice a declaration of intent. "Let's create that resonant frequency and take back Aethereia." The rebels nodded, their faces set with determination. Lyra's eyes locked onto mine, a glint of understanding in her gaze. But as we dove back into the task, I couldn't help but wonder, were we playing into the Puppeteer's hands? And what hidden price would we pay for this desperate bid to reboot Aethereia's harmonics? Previously, Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion formed an uneasy alliance with the Aethereian rebels, led by the enigmatic Lyra, to create a resonant frequency that could reboot Aethereia's dormant harmonics and counter the Puppeteer's hold on Aiden. But as they worked together, Alex detected a hint of deception in Lyra's eyes, raising questions about the true allegiance of their new allies. As I gazed at Lyra, her calculated smile still lingered in my mind, like a warning sign on a treacherous path. The hum of the silver console seemed to vibrate with an undercurrent of tension, and I knew I couldn't shake off the sensation that we were walking into a trap. Elara's reassuring touch still lingered on my skin, a reminder that we had to push forward, but my instinct screamed warning. "Dr. Orion, can you confirm the frequency?" I asked, my voice steady, trying to keep my doubts in check. Dr. Orion's eyes darted between the console and Lyra before he gave a curt nod. "The resonant frequency is within acceptable parameters, Alex. We're ready to initiate the reboot sequence." Lyra's eyes sparkled with a moment before she turned to face the rebels. "It's time to put our plan into action. Rebels, take your positions. We'll initiate the reboot sequence in 3, 2, 1. The room fell silent, the only sound the hum of the console and the soft countdown. I felt Elara's hand brush against mine once more, a silent reassurance that we were in this together. But as the reboot sequence began, a faint tremor ran through the sanctuary's walls, like a warning signal from the very fabric of Aethereia itself. "What's happening?" I asked, my voice above a whisper as the tremor intensified. Lyra's eyes locked onto mine, a glint of fear hidden beneath her gaze. "It's not supposed to do that. The frequency should be resonating, not causing a feedback loop." The console's hum surged, the silver surface rippling like water as the reboot sequence faltered. I felt a presence like an unseen force drawing closer, as if Aethereia itself was responding to our desperate bid to reboot its harmonics. Suddenly, the console's hum ceased, and an eerie silence fell over the sanctuary. In the stillness, Lyra's eyes locked onto mine, a flash of terror reflected in her gaze. "What have we done?" she whispered as the room seemed to darken, like a physical presence closing in around us. As I stared into Lyra's eyes, I knew that our bid to reboot Aethereia's harmonics had unleashed a power beyond our control. We had to find a way to contain the feedback loop before it was too late. But as I turned to face Elara, I saw a glimmer of hope in her eyes, a spark that I knew would propel us forward, no matter the cost previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion formed an uneasy alliance with the Aethereian rebels to reboot Aethereia's dormant harmonics, but Lyra's suspicious behavior and the stakes, and the reboot sequence's catastrophic failure now threatens to destroy the sanctuary and everything they've fought for. As the darkness closed in, Lyra's whispered words hung in the air like a challenge, and I felt the weight of responsibility bearing down on me. Elara's hand still lingered on mine, a beacon of hope in the void as I turned to face the chaos. The sanctuary's walls seemed to shudder as if Aethereia itself was tearing apart, and I knew we had to act fast to contain the destruction. "Dr. Orion, can you?" "No, Alex," Dr. Orion cut me off, his eyes darting wildly around the room. "This is beyond my expertise. We need to evacuate now." Lyra's gaze locked onto mine, a mixture of fear and determination etched on her face. "We can't abandon the sanctuary. We have to find a way to stop this feedback loop before it's too late." The air seemed to thicken as if the very fabric of Aethereia was responding to our desperation. I felt a glimmer of determination, a spark that refused to be extinguished. I turned to Elara, her eyes shining with a fire that I knew would burn out. "We need to find the source of the feedback loop," I said, my voice steady, a sense of purpose growing with every word. "We need to find out what's causing this and stop it." Elara nodded, her hand still on mine as we turned to face the darkness. Lyra's rebels fell into formation behind us, a united front against the forces of destruction. As we ventured deeper into the heart of the sanctuary, the air grew thick with an otherworldly energy, like the whispers of ancient secrets. I could feel Aethereia's pulse beating stronger, its harmonics still resonating but distorted like a broken melody. "We're getting close," Dr. Orion whispered, his eyes scanning the ancient consoles. "We're getting close to the heart of the feedback loop." Suddenly, the air seemed to shatter, as a blast of energy ripped through the room, sending us flying. I felt Elara's hand torn from mine. As I crashed to the ground, the sanctuary's walls screaming in agony. As I stumbled to my feet, I saw Elara, her face pale, her eyes locked onto something behind me. I turned and my heart stopped. In the center of the room, a glowing portal had opened, pulsing with energy that seemed to be pulling everything towards it. Lyra's rebels stood frozen, as if transfixed by the spectacle. "What is this?" Lyra whispered, her voice barely audible over the pulsing hum. Dr. Orion's eyes locked onto mine, a look of warning etched on his face. "I think we've unleashed something ancient, something beyond our control." As I stared into the portal, I felt Aethereia's pulse beating stronger, its harmonics still resonating, but twisted, like a melody from a broken world. I felt the presence of the Puppeteer, its influence growing as the portal seemed to beckon us towards the unknown. I knew that we had to stop this, no matter the cost. I knew that we had to find a way to close this portal, before it was too late. But as I turned to face Elara, I saw a glimmer of doubt in her gaze, a spark of fear that I knew would drive us deeper into the heart of the abyss previously. As Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion formed an uneasy alliance with the Aethereian rebels to reboot Aethereia's dormant harmonics, Lyra's suspicious behavior and the catastrophic failure of the reboot sequence now threatens to destroy the sanctuary and everything they've fought for. Alex's determination to stop the feedback loop and close the ancient portal had become an all-consuming force, driving him to confront the unknown. Elara's grip on his hand tightened, a beacon of hope in the chaos as they faced the swirling vortex. "We need to find a way to close this portal," I said, my voice firm, echoing off the sanctuary's walls. Dr. Orion's eyes darted wildly, his face pale. "I don't think that's possible, Alex. This is beyond our control." Lyra's rebels stood frozen, transfixed by the portal's pulsing energy. Elara's gaze met mine, a spark of fear still lingering, but her eyes also held a determination that I knew would carry us through. "We can't give up," I said, my voice steady. "We can't let the Puppeteer win." As if responding to my words, the portal's energy surged, sending us stumbling backward. The air seemed to rip apart, revealing a glimpse of the unknown, a realm where twisted harmonics wailed like a chorus of the damned. "We need to get through that portal," I said, my heart pounding. "We need to face whatever is on the other side." Elara's grip on my hand tightened, her eyes locked onto mine. Together, she whispered. With a deep breath, I stepped forward, Elara by my side as we plunged into the swirling vortex. The sanctuary's walls screamed in agony, the air shattered, and the world around us dissolved into chaos. We emerged on the other side, the air thick with an otherworldly energy. The landscape stretched out before us, a twisted realm of crystal spires and wailing harmonics. In the distance, a figure stood, its presence seeming to warp the fabric of reality. The Puppeteer, its gaze locked onto mine, a cold, calculating intelligence that seemed to weigh our souls. I felt Elara's hand trembling in mine, but I knew she stood firm, her determination mirroring my own. "We're here to stop you," I said, my voice steady. The Puppeteer's gaze didn't waver, its presence seeming to grow stronger. The air around us began to distort as if reality itself was bending to its will. "You are brave, Alex," it said, its voice like a gentle breeze carrying the weight of centuries. "But you are no match for me." I felt a surge of energy, a spark of defiance that refused to be extinguished. "We'll stop you," I said, my voice firm. "We'll reboot Aethereia's harmonics and free this world from your grasp." The puppeteer's gaze didn't waver, but for a moment I saw a glimmer of surprise. It didn't expect us to be this far, to have breached the echo chamber and uncovered its secrets. With a wave of its hand, the air around us seemed to shatter, and a wave of energy crashed down upon us. I felt Elara's hand torn from mine as I stumbled backward, the world around me dissolving into chaos. But I refused to give up. I refused to let the puppeteer win. With a roar of defiance, I launched myself forward, the energy of the portal and the harmonics of Aethereia coursing through my veins. I felt Elara's presence beside me, her determination mirroring my own as we clashed with the puppeteer. The battle raged on, the outcome hanging in the balance. As we fought to reboot Aethereia's harmonics and free the world from the puppeteer's grasp. In the end, it was Elara who found the key, her intuitive grasp of the harmonics guiding my actions as we worked in tandem to reboot the sequence. The air seemed to shudder as the puppeteer's hold on Aethereia began to falter. With a final burst of energy, we completed the sequence, and the harmonics of Aethereia began to resonate, pure and clear. The portal's energy dissipated, and the twisted realm around us began to dissolve. As we emerged back into the sanctuary, the air was thick with the scent of rebirth. The walls no longer screamed in agony, and the pulsing hum of the transmission had ceased. We had done it. We had rebooted Aethereia's harmonics and freed the world from the puppeteer's grasp. Lyra's rebels cheered, their faces flushed with triumph, as Dr. Orion's gaze met mine, a mixture of amazement and relief etched on his face. I turned to Elara, her eyes shining with a fire that would burn bright for eternity. I knew that she was more than just a companion, more than just a friend. She was the embodiment of hope, the beacon that had guided me through the darkness. As I took her hand, the air around us seemed to shimmer, and the harmonics of Aethereia pulsed stronger, a symphony of rebirth and renewal. We had saved Aethereia, and in doing so, had saved ourselves. Epilogue. As we stood on the threshold of the sanctuary, the rebuilt Aethereia stretching out before us, I felt the weight of responsibility lifting from my shoulders. I knew that our journey was far from over, that there were still secrets to uncover and battles to fight. But for now, in this moment, I knew that we had earned a glimpse of peace, a chance to bask in the glory of our triumph. And as I looked up at the stars, I knew that the horizon beckoned, a vast expanse of possibility waiting to be explored, waiting to be reborn. Aethereia's harmonics pulsed strong, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope can triumph, and that courage can conquer even the most daunting of challenges.